Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hero, help me out, y'all. I just stopped in to share with y'all some spiritual things. Okay? I was having a conversation with my son the other day. And I'm going to give a disclaimer now. I'm going to let y'all know. I am a highly spiritual person. However, I don't know everything. Many things I can pick up on because I'm highly spiritual and walk in spiritual places, but I'm not an astrologist. Okay? I don't study the stars. I don't study the universe. I'm not a part of NASA or any of that. But because I'm spiritual, there are things I notice. There are things I see. There are things I hear. Okay, so this was approximately 5 days ago. We had a shift in the universe. And I bring this up because my son asked me yesterday or a couple days ago. He asked me, he said, Mom, it was yesterday. He asked me this. He said, Mom, something happened, but I don't know what happened. I said, what you mean? He said, something spiritual happened, but I don't know what it was. He was like, all of a sudden, I got really tired. All my energy was just gone, and I was knocked out. But he said, I don't know where it went. He said, and I wasn't doing anything, and it was just so weird. It was like, and he didn't even have to finish. I knew exactly what he was talking about because I experienced it too. So yes, you guys, what's today? Today is Friday. So this happened, today is Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, 2025. So this happened, let me see, this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. This might have been Monday. This could have been Sunday or Monday. Somewhere up in there. So the 21st, 20th, 21st, 22nd, somewhere in there. We did have a spiritual shift, y'all. So let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you. Because I saw it happening. I felt it and I saw it. It's almost like surfing. It's almost like surfing and riding a wave. So we were in a shift, a dimensional shift. The dimensions, now I can't tell you why we were in a shift. I cannot explain to you what God intended by the shift or the universe intended by the shift. I know things operate on a natural axis, axis. Everything works on a natural axis, spiritual laws, how God set up the universe, how God set up the earth and the planets. We automatically operate on a natural axis. That's how we're supposed to go. That's how we're supposed to rotate, or we're not supposed to rotate. That's how we're supposed to shift dimensions, or we're not supposed to shift dimensions. It's based on the timing. What are the times? Even though we operate on a infinite line, it's not even time. There is no time. We operate on an infinite line. I want to say timeline, but there is no time. It's just a line we operate off of. Eternity, infinity. Eternity and infinity. But God has it. Planet Earth will always be slightly tilted, rotate this way. The sun and the moon will do this. And this is what we do century after century, right? Planet Mars, Venus, Pluto, whoever. You will always be like this. Your atmosphere is as such. You will rotate this way every year, every 100 years, every whatever. And this is what will occur. His work is done. The universe is done. This is what it does. And then God does what he do. Well, we came upon a time, we came upon a season where we were supposed to shift dimensions. And I felt it. I noticed it. And I was watching and paying attention. Some of it, I couldn't do anything but weather it. Like I said, it's like surfing a wave. Surfing a wave. Or in another terminology, riding a bull. You got to hold on. You got to hold on till the ride is over. And then you can assess, where are you? Is everything okay? Does anything need to be done or changed or whatever, right? Okay, so a couple of nights ago or a few days ago, I can't remember if I had just got off work or if I was sitting in my car or where I was. And the shift was happening over some hours. So whatever this shift was, it wasn't just a quick 1 hour shift. This shift was a huge dimensional shift. And it took approximately 2 days. Maybe lingered a third day. The first day was most of the shift. The second day was a little bit more of the shift, and then it kind of phased out. But there was a shift. So how this universal shift dimensions took place, it's like everything's, how do I explain this where you can understand? I wish I had something in my hand tangible that I could show you. A realm, another realm. Or maybe I could think of a Marvel movie or something. But there's a realm, then there's another realm, and then there's another realm, and there's another realm. And I want to say it's possible it could have been 4 to 5 realms that crossed. They crossed and they met at a pivotal point. There was this pivotal meeting point where all of these dimensions hit at the same time. They all connected at the same time. When all of those connected at the same time, and if any of you have felt this, that energy drain approximately 5 days ago or last week, if you felt that energy change, please type your answer. Please say something. Say you felt it. Say you noticed it. Or say that you heard someone else talk about it. And let me know if you experienced it or if you noticed it. But that pivotal point, that's when everybody felt their energy leave. When all of those dimensions kind of crossed that pivotal point. In that pivotal point, we shifted into another realm, another dimension, another timeline. So during that shift, I was driving. During that shift, I knew the shift was happening. And I started praying. Because again, I'm not an astrologist. I don't study the universe. I don't study any of that. I have not studied any of that. But I can tell when I'm in one. So I'm looking. And everything looked different. Now, I'm in Texas, Austin, Texas area. And I'm driving, but I'm paying attention to the shift. And I'm driving and I said, Lord, what is this? And it's something he didn't give me access to. He didn't give me the information. And I'm like, what is this? Where are we? Where are we going? What is this? And so everything looked different to me. I'm in the same city that I've been in and out of for the last 20 years. No, it didn't been 20. I've been here, what is this, 2025? Well, let me calculate that. I moved here I moved East Texas in 2003. 2023. Ooh, 21, 22, 23 years. 23 years. Okay. Not in the Austin area, because I was in East Texas a little bit. But I say at least 10 years here. Maybe 15, right? So I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at the buildings. I'm looking at the streets. I'm looking at the cars, things I drive past every day. But it all looked unfamiliar to me. And I was like, I'm on my way to work. I'm driving down the right street. But why does this all look strange to me? And I said, well, Lord, is this from my past? Or is this something coming in my future? Or what is this? And I did not get an answer. And I'm driving, but I knew that I was in a different timeline. And so as we're going through this shift, I'm wondering, well, when the shift is over, where will we be? Where will I be? Because I'm not savvy with multidimensional changes. Because that was a multidimensional shift. A multidimensional shift. And I know there's something powerful about that. I'm just not certain how that multidimensional shift affected the heavens, the heavenly realms, or the demonic realms. I don't know how that shift, that's something I would probably need to ask like Prophet Lovey. I don't know if he's into the dimensional shifts. I'm sure he's aware. But I was just like, none of this looks familiar to me. And that's not the first time that's happened. I've shifted dimensions before, but it was a single dimension. It's never been a multi-dimensional shift. And I'll tell you about a single dimensional shift. I was with my mother, my stepfather, and my sister. We were at Marshall's in a place called Cedar Park in Austin area. And my mom, and they're just shopping, and I'm just looking around the store, walking. And at that time, it was right after COVID. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to move. And I'm like, okay, I had just moved back from Las Vegas because I moved back home to Vegas for a year in 2020. And I stayed there for a year, and then I came back to Texas. And I was like, okay, what do I want to do? And I was like, I'm going to move. And as I'm walking down an aisle, I look out the front the storefront window. I look out the window of the storefront, and I'm looking at the parking lot. I see the highway. But then everything turns blurry and it looks funny. I walked into a dimensional shift. into the spirit. And I know I've mastered now knowing when I enter into a spirit realm, when I shift into another dimension, I can tell it easily now. And so I hear something say to me, this is not your home. And I kind of tried to ignore it a little bit. I probably shouldn't have did that. And I was like, this is not my home. I was like, that don't even make sense. And I just kept looking. And it said it again, this is not your home. And I was like, what? And I was like, I'm in Cedar Park. And I'm like, I know this is not my home. Why would you even tell me that? And then I thought, well, maybe it didn't mean that. And I said, oh, I'm in Texas. I was like, well, I know this is not my home. I'm from Las Vegas. Why would you tell me that? See, every thought I came up with was, why would you tell me that? I know this ain't my home. And then I thought, well, maybe I don't understand. This not my, I know this not my home. And then I was like, well, maybe it meant Africa. The U.S. isn't my home. Either way it went, none of them was my home. None of them. Texas ain't my home because it's Vegas. Cedar Park ain't my home because I usually live in Pflugerville or Round Rock area. USA is not my home because my people were stolen and brought here, and we've been here ever since. So the response didn't make sense to me. And then I thought, well, maybe they meant a spiritual level. This ain't my home. And I was like, well, yeah, I know this ain't my home because I'm going to die one day and I'm going to be in the spirit realm. And the earth, I won't be living in this realm. So every thought that I came was like, why would you even say that to me? Without giving me more specific detail of what you mean by this ain't your home. But either way it goes, that's what the Lord spoke to me. While I was looking at a storefront, everything was crisp, clear, and then all of a sudden everything got hazy, kind of blurry. And the whole street and everything didn't look the same. I knew I was in the store of Marshalls. I knew the street I was on. I knew the location I was in. But yet, at the same time, none of it looked familiar. How twisted and crazy does that sound? None of it looked familiar. That was a single dimension shift. The one that passed earlier or a few days ago, that was a multi-dimensional shift. That was my first time in life ever knowingly going through a multi-dimensional shift. Do you hear me? We actually had a multi-dimensional shift. That says to me something huge just happened. Something very huge just happened. Very huge. And I don't know if this has anything to do with the 3AI Atlas. I do not. I wouldn't even dare to say it. I know we have a lot of discussions, congressional discussions on alien life form, non-human life form, different things taking place on this earth, in the U.S. more specifically. And maybe that has something to do with the multidimensional shift. But for my son to mention it, it must have been pretty darn noticeable. It must have been pretty darn noticeable. Because the same thing happened to me. I paid attention to the shift. I paid attention, and it lasted. It was still going on when I got to work. the shift was still taking place when I got to work. And when I got off the next morning, the shift was still taking place. So if a shift is literally taking place for more than 24 hours, and I'm noticing it and I'm feeling it, it literally drained my energy. And my work day was easy. My work night was cool. It was breezy. It was non-stressful. It was, easy going. There was no reason for all of my energy to deplete just like that. And nothing looked familiar to me. Now we're out of the shift now. The shift has completed. The shift has completed. What I cannot tell you is what dimension we're in. I don't know. I don't know what dimension we're in. I don't know what spirits have entered or were put out during the shift. I don't know what alien or 3-eye AI had to do with it. I don't know any of that. I don't know if that's something God will teach me one day or not. I do not know. What I do know is we literally had a multidimensional shift, and I saw it. So this shift with these different dimensions, it was like almost like something you see on I want to say, was it Spider-Man, and he was going against the Green Goblin, and the man with all the arms, the old doctor who got messed up and got all the arms, and he put together this big old thing because he was going to open up this dimensional portal, right? And one ball spinning this way, another one spinning this way, and then you got another. So you put 5 of those together, and you got 5 things spinning like this, but they all meet at a certain access point. You don't know what's coming from this dimension, this dimension, this dimension, this dimension, or this dimension. So when that pivotal point met, what happened at that pivotal point? What took place in that pivotal point? And everybody's not going to know that. I'm just lucky to be able to notice it because, again, I'm highly spiritual and I speak spiritual things, and I'm vigilant to the Lord. I'm vigilant on certain things. Now, some people may not be vigilant like that. They may not even be paying attention. They may not even believe in it. They just know they drained, the energy got drained. Maybe they thought they drank too much the day before. Or I don't know what they thought. Okay? But they were in a shift. They just don't know what it was and what happened to them. And some of them probably went to the doctor to find out. The doctor ain't going to be able to tell you that. The doctor ain't going to know. He probably going to give you a diagnosis and send you home with some medication that you shouldn't even have. Okay? But I'm watching the dimensions as I'm driving to work. In the spirit, I see them. I see the dimensions moving. Though I don't fully understand it, I see them twisting and moving. And I feel my energy. Because as they're twisting, you got to remember, we're in the middle of that shift. You're not just sitting still and calm and silent. It's like riding a wave. Like surfing. You stay on that board till the shift is done. Because you don't know where you're going to end up at. You don't know what wave it's going to hit, if it's going to lift you, if it's going to sink you. You don't know what's going to pop up in that water, out that wave on you. So it was literally like just spiritually trying to stay afloat. Spiritually trying to hold on during this shift. Because you don't know. And while that shift is taking place, I'm wondering, Lord, what is this? I'm asking the Lord, what is this? And I feel my spirit because I am connected. And I feel my spirit is picking up on stuff. But it's not an explanation for it. And so at that point, I had to step back and just trust my spirit to do what it do. And so I did. And I just weathered it because I felt my energy getting drained. And trying to stay focused during a multidimensional shift like that, I'm not going to say it was the easiest thing. Because again, I was going to work. And who wants to go to work? Most of us don't really want to go. But I was on my way to work. And I'm just like, all I could say was, Lord, what is this? Lord, what is this? Because sometimes God will do things in you. He'll do things in your spirit, in your soul. He'll do things. And I wasn't sure, is this something you're doing in me? Is this something you want to download? You've allowed me to see this. Is there a reason for this? So always ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask God questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions when you see things and experience things. You know, and don't get discouraged if he doesn't answer you immediately. Okay? Ask the questions. Pray about the questions. Seek the Lord, because that's where your knowledge comes from, your understanding, your wisdom. Okay? And I'm sure he'll come full circle back around and pick it back up again later and say, this is why, this is what, this is da 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 da. Okay, but yes, you guys, we went through a multidimensional shift approximately 4 or 5 days ago. And if you're hearing God speak to you saying, this is not your home, this is not your home, I will ask you to consider looking at Africa. If you are of African descent, I strongly encourage you to look to Africa. Because I hadn't really thought about Africa like that. I hadn't. God just put all this on me some months ago. I hadn't thought about Africa. And like I said, after COVID, the Lord had spoke to me and said, this is not your home. But I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that meant. And a lot of Africans, African Americans, diaspora, offspring of slaves, we haven't thought about returning home. And the white people who colonized us, they have never once encouraged us to return home. You ever thought about why? Think about that. But if the Lord is speaking to me while I'm simply shopping with my parents and feels it is important to tell me this is not your home, one, that tells me God is still upset and pissed about what white people did to black people. And he has not forgotten, he will not. Two, it tells me that because white people have not repented, nor have they offered to send us back home, nor have they offered to pay reparations or anything that they've done, that their judgment day is here. And it doesn't matter what they say and do to black people at this point. 2025, they're still fighting against paying what they owe. Not only are they dead to black people, they dead to God, Almighty Creator of all. They don't understand that they took God's chosen people. Anytime a people can disrespect God and think he's not God, and anytime a people can take God's chosen people, the beloved of his heart, and trample on it, and then turn around and sing praises and ask for blessings, that's the most disgusting thing I could have possibly think of. I almost don't even have words for that. But God told me this is not my home. That tells me he cares about where my physical position is. That tells me he cares about where my spiritual position is. And if he cares about that, and he enough to tell me, then when a white person stands in my face and talks to me, the only thing I can see is you in trouble. Because he can't be telling me one thing and telling you the opposite. So which one is the truth? If he spoke to me, this isn't my home, then did he speak to you about what you did to those people, or what your ancestors did to those people that you never righted? And I'm sure it's many black people you've sabotaged, talked about, betrayed, set up, all those kind of things. That's going to end a lot of white people in hell, or with a very, very destructive ending to their life. I put on many videos letting white people know you need to repent. You need to repent, and it's not about slavery is over. You still have their offspring. You're the offspring of colonizers. We're the offspring of ex-slaves. So when it comes down to it, who do you think needs to right that wrong? Who do you think needs to stand up for that? Because this was just 2020. God told me this. 2021. This is 21. This isn't your home. That was 4 years ago. And here we are today. And they crying. But their cry is nothing like the cry of the slaves. Their cry is nothing like the cry of the blood of slaves that cry from the ground to this day. Their cry is nothing like the cry that black people have gone through. Your cry is lightweight. Your cry don't even add a half of a tear in a bucket compared to the cries that black people have had for decades, centuries. So all white people think you're going to get another century? I'm going to leave that there. You have systems set up in America preventing blacks from returning home to Africa. This is fact, because I'm going through it. And I can afford to go back. But it's been hard. And your systems you have set up, I'm telling you now. The systems are set up so that the slaves and the offspring of slaves would never return home to Africa. That needs to be addressed for any white person watching this video who wants to know. They make it easy for you to go. They make it hard for us to go back. They make it easy for you to colonize our country and think you want to colonize our country while you step on us back here in the U.S. and prevent us from going home and doing what we choose and want to do. So don't think it's just, oh, you can just up and go. You got the money. It's not that. It ain't that easy. And I'm learning this as my first trip, trying to take my first trip to Africa. I'm truly learning and I'm truly seeing what's been set up. And I'm shocked. So yes, you got some things to change. You got some reparations to pay. You have some apologies to make. You got a lot of stuff. You got some work to do. You got some work to do. And a lot of you white people are scared we're going to do the same things you did to us. Many of us won't. Many of us won't, but there'll be a whole lot of us that say, yeah, every single bit of it. I want you to have 10 times what you gave to us. And I ain't gonna lie, there's gonna be some that feel that way and they gonna do that. They gonna do that. And many black people who watch it, who did not want to participate in it, they not gonna say nothing. Because you deserve every bit of it you get back. You deserve every single bit of it. For every black man you set up and put in prison. For every black person you knew was right, but you chose not to speak up. For every black person that you set up to steal their land and take their money. For every black person that you raped and breeded. For every black person that you unlawfully did and wrongly did a surgery on or gave lack of medical attention to. For every black person that you did their grandparents, their great-grandparents, you're going to pay for every single bit of that. Some people call it karma. Some people call it justice. Some people call it the will of God. Pay your price. We paid ours. It's time for you to pay your price. Can you endure what we endured? Do you think you can? Do you really think you can? And if you don't think you can, y'all might want to come up with some reparations. Some real big ones that'll make us possibly overlook all the damage and trauma that you've caused. Better be some really, really good reparations though. Because there was a lot of rape, a lot of murder, a lot of degradation. Oh, the list is so long on y'all. Whatever y'all come up with, oof, you better make it damn good. That's all I can say to you. Because a lot of black people, when they get to doing what they gonna do, black people ain't gonna say nothing. Look what y'all doing in Africa. You think black people gonna say something? Not just black people. Chinese people, Indian people, Mexican people. Do you think anybody gonna say anything about y'all's destruction? The answer is no. You're gonna be on your own because of how you treated everybody else. You will be on your own. I guarantee you that. Y'all better come up with some reparations, like real fast. Like real fast. And y'all that's dependent on Trump, he ain't gonna be alive much longer. He ain't gonna be alive much longer. So when that man bow out and he ain't there no more, I guess y'all hoping there'll be another white savior that pop up. I don't know what y'all thinking. I really don't. And y'all go to church. Some money y'all go to church and you know what you're supposed to do when you wrong somebody. Y'all know. You know. What's more, it's just interesting how some people, a group of people tried to steal God. How do you steal God? Tried to steal God and spiritual practice from a people and use it for themselves. You try to destroy the people and then take their God and pray to their God. How do you take a people, try to destroy it, and then pray to the God thinking you're going to get grace and favor? I don't get that concept. But somewhere in their minds, they believe that way. Not knowing he's our God and we're his people. So maybe they think that God doesn't honor our voices and our cry. Like he don't listen to us or something. I don't know, y'all. Anyhow, we did go through a multidimensional shift. I may ask God to teach me a little more on that. Please hit like, share, subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, you guys. And go to futuremepro.com, purchase some merch, do all that good stuff, and I will keep y'all updated on the Africa trip. And you guys have a good day, a blessed day. Maybe I'll get back in the bed. And until next time, love y'all.